Hello! It's time for a very different video today. For one, I'm not sitting down. I'm standing up. For two, you can see more of my room. My living room. Kitchen is one. You can see some of the stuff that I've piled up on the sofa in order to make space on the floor. But why? You can see my pyjamas. Oh, yeah. You can see my pyjamas. Look. Pajama bottoms. New top. Pajama bottoms. Because I wanted to be comfy. Because this video is a bookshelf reorganisation. Oh yeah. Buckle your seatbelts, guys. It's time for a wild ride. So yeah, here I am in my kitchen living room space. The sun has just emerged from behind a cloud, or a cloud has moved out of the way of the sun. One of those two things. Probably the latter. And now the room is a little bit lighter, which is great, because you're going to want to actually see me do a bookshelf reorganisation. So, why am I doing a bookshelf reorganisation, you may ask? I have considered doing this before, several times, and I've always thought, no, reorganising your bookshelf is just wasting hours that you could spend actually reading, and you know, clearing some of those books off your TBR, moving them out of your life. And if you do that enough, you don't actually need to reorganise your bookshelves, because you'll just end up with few enough books. And this worked for a while. But now I've got to the point where I'm actually finding it really hard to use my TBR. Because I want to read more physical books, I need to be able to actually access them and find the books I want when I want to read them. I am a mood reader, and also I'm embarking on these projects where I read books on a certain theme, and so I've got to the bottom of the pile. And, you know, it's just really, really annoying to have to go through every single shelf every time I want to find a book or books on a theme. So I thought, I've got to do it. I've just got to give in and do it. So this is not even all the books in the flat. This flat doesn't hold all of my books. I have books in my parents' house, and we're just going to forget about those for now. Because there's only so much I can take. I'm also going to forget about the stash of Georgette Heyer books I have in my wardrobe at the back. Because, you know, they're all the books, I know where they are. All the Georgette Heyer books are in one place, that's fine. I've got a little stack of books in the bedroom, and I've got some books on this white shelf unit out in the hallway. The white shelf unit actually belongs to my partner Nick, but I repurposed it as bookshelves because I'm a bookaholic. So yeah, on the shelf behind me here, will it move? No, because I autofocus locked. There we go. Should follow me now. It is following me. Okay, great. So here, this one is books I've read. This is books I haven't read. This is books I haven't read. This is books I haven't read. This is cookbooks. This is books I haven't read. This is books I haven't read. This is fiction books I haven't read at the start. And there is some craft books at the back. And I don't even know. It's all a mixture. It's all a mixture. This is books I have read. This is books I haven't read. No, I've done the shelf. This is mixture of craft books, fiction books, colouring books, all sorts going on down here. There's a non-fiction book in there that I've read. Why have I got this chair in the way? Let's move this chair. Should have done that at the start. Okay. This is books down here. There's books I haven't read, and there's more books I haven't read. The next one, I'm going to need to move the camera, aren't I? Come with me. So, can't see what's going on. Yeah, right. So, down here, we've got books I haven't read, books I haven't read, books I haven't read, books I haven't read. Now, these aren't double layered. There's boxes behind these with board games and other stuff. Some of that I may put elsewhere so I can actually fit more books onto the shelf. There's a carrier bag down the gap there, which has a book I haven't read in it. So, should we? Oh yeah. Here is a pile of books that I have read and that I want to keep, so I need to find homes for those. Here are two piles of books. This is books I acquired, I want to say July. I think June, July. This is Noughts and Crosses original trilogy, which is not actually mine, it's my partner Nick's. And here is the books. This is the last Loom Crate book. And then these are the books I acquired in September. Let's show you. Let's show you the nightmare, which is the really dusty white shelf unit. Here we go. Here you go. So here we go. There's a pile of hats and umbrellas and shit. Yeah, there's 2 piles of books up here, and then down here, more books. More books. And then in the bedroom, moving along the wall so you can't see the total mess that I've made of the bed. Yeah. Yeah, some more books. Okay. So, yeah. That's all the stuff I actually want to organise today and put onto the Kallax. It's an IKEA Kallax, if I can. I know it's not all going to fit. I know there are some gaps on the shelves because as I've read books since beginning my proper Julianne versus TBR full attack project, I have left gaps, but I'm not going to fit it all on there. You know, being realistic. But I've got to think about. I want this to be the books I want to read. Books I either have read or books I want to read sooner rather than later. So I may end up putting things like sci-fi and fantasy series books, which I'm not going to read anytime soon, on the White Thing. I definitely don't want to have that pile in the bedroom anymore though. That's coming here no matter what. So, where to start? Well, where to start is going to be, it's gone dark again, hasn't it? With this. Basically, I'm going to take everything off that is a book I haven't read or is a section with books I haven't read. There's a few books I have read mixed up, as I said. There's like a non-fiction book on one of the craft book sections that I have actually read and so shouldn't be mixed up with books I haven't read. So yeah, I'm going to take off all of those bits. So that should leave me with just the cookbooks and the 2 cubes of books I have read. Tales of Beedle the Bard I haven't read. That needs to come off of the section of books I have read, and I can replace it with something else I have read. But yeah, so everything else needs to come off, and I'm going to try and sort as I go. So I have previously come up with some categories that I want to put books into. So I've just written stuff that came into my head. I'm going to make more of these as I go along. So basically I can label the piles and do a more efficient job because I don't want this to take, you know, the entire rest of the day. I don't just some reading. So historical adult, crafts, spooky, which is basically the Frances Hardinge section because I have lots of her books floating around here, but I haven't read yet. Contemporary YA, contemporary adult, these have got a bit mixed up. Sci-fi standalones, fantasy standalones, sci-fi series, fantasy series, both of which will probably end up going out of this room. Non-fiction, I like to read non-fiction in the morning when I'm having breakfast. I've actually started having breakfast at work, so I haven't been doing that so much, but on the weekends I will still keep it up. But all my non-fiction is scattered all over this thing, which is really annoying because when I finish one, I said recently, and I wanted to pick another one. Luckily I had one I'd actually started ages ago that I could just grab. But yeah, if I had not wanted to read that one, I wanted to read something else, I would have had to spend ages looking for it. See, this is why this is such a problem. Historical YA and non-sci-fi fantasy series, because I think I've got a couple of contemporary series, but not very many, not so many that I need to have a contemporary series section. But I may change my mind. So yeah, this is how it is at the moment. These are my categories that I've come up with. If I think of any more, then I will make them. I've considered splitting urban fantasy and fantasy, but I actually don't have that many urban fantasy books, so I think that they'll just go into fantasy standalones or fantasy series, whichever is most appropriate. Right, so that's it for now. I am going to start taking stuff off and sorting it. So yeah, I'm going to speed up some of these sections, and if there's something I want to say, I will come back to the camera and say it. This is going to be a very long video, by the way, so why not organise your bookshelves along with me? Press pause, just think about how you want to do it and then start and follow along with me. Or just get yourself a cup of tea. Speaking of which, I need mine at the ready. My partner's going to come back at some point soon actually, because he said he'd be back by 2. So I have like maybe half an hour to get going and hopefully not make too much of a mess. I'm going to have to move some stuff because I moved some stuff out of the way to film this. And now we can't sit on the sofa and I can't sit here to have, I've put the camera on the table I sit out to have my lunch, so I'm just going to have to run around and sort things out while he puts the lunch on. Anyway, let's get going and see how far I can get before he shows up. He may show up in 10 seconds. Right, let's start at the top. Got to move this print. Right, that I actually have red down here with the red books. I've also read this, good books down here, the red books. Right, what have we got? Adult Contempt. YA Contempt. YA Fantasy. YA Fantasy? Yeah. There we go. Actually, it's historical, isn't it? Historical. Contemporary adult, contemporary YA. Okay. All these, I don't actually know. All these are Lumicrate books. I need to know whether they are standalones or series. This I definitely know is a series. Fantasy series. And then we have, I'm going to have to scan these I think on Goodreads. That's going to be the quickest thing to do. Scan them, see if it says they have a series. Does anybody else heavily rely on the Goodreads scan books function? Come on. I'm going to take some more books while I wait for it to load. Right, those are both non-fiction, that's small fiction. Empire Sand. That sounds. It says the Books of Ambra on the side, so I'm going to put it in fantasy series. But that's quite reliable. Non-fiction. Let's put non-fiction on the table. Where's non-fiction? Non-fiction. Oh, spooky! Spooky! Best spooky book. Spooky, spooky, spooky. No, come on phone, scan books. Right. This is a fantasy series, still in the shrink wrap. Good times, good times. Yeah. Put that in the fantasy series section. Right, scan is go. So the scan on Goodreads is not working because I'm having to type the titles in. Come on, man. Come on. The Orphanage of Gods. Looks like it's a standalone, doesn't mention a series. Woo. Let's pop that on the table too. I know quite a few of the Illumicrate ones have actually been standalones. I just have failed to pay any attention. Descendant of the Crane. I probably could just go on Illumicrate's Instagram and scroll through and it would tell me. Come on. Descendant of the Crane. Yep, standalone. Here. Cool. Next pile. Let's just, oh, I didn't put the back. That is standalone, kinda. It's a Catwoman book. I'm going to put it in standalones because you know what? I'm not going to like go read the other books from that series of DC tie-ins. Like I can't imagine they're connected. I think they are standalone. Right. Read that. Right. Traitor to the Throne. I've started. What was the previous one called? Rebel of the Sands. Rebel of the Sands. This is a proof, but it wasn't my proof. I picked it up in a book swap. Yeah, Rebel of the Sands I have read, but I can't remember because it's a bit similar to The Last Samsara, and so I think I might need to reread it, or at least reread a recap or something. Contemporary. So I'm going to put it in the fantasy series. This is adult contemporary. That's non-fiction. Bit gross. I don't know what happens to that. I don't really want to put it on top of my thing. Oh, Carrie Fisher. I'm going to assume this is contemporary adult. It's a novel. Yeah, so I'm going to put it in contemporary adult. And then we have classics. In the classics section, I've got here Scoop by Evelyn Waugh and Valley of Dolls. So they're both classics. I'm gonna go get another bit of paper for classics. I'm back, and my screen didn't even shut off. I was that quick. Classics. Right, I'm gonna put this here on the floor. In fact, I should probably put all of these on the floor because Nick will come home. I'm gonna leave contemporary OIA on the chair. I'm gonna put non-fiction on the floor too. Try and give myself some space in front of the bookshelf so I can actually move. Spooky. Right. Okay. Oh yeah, that was non-fiction too, but I don't want to put it on top of the nice books. I'll put it aside. I got it for free. I book swap it. Looks a bit water damage. Oh, my battery's dying. Okay, I'm gonna try and keep working while the battery charges up again. But yeah, I'll fill you in on anything you miss. I'm back. So 2 hours have gone by. Nick came home. We had lunch. Watched 2 episodes of The Good Place. Loved The Good Place. And now I'm back in the game. So I thought first I would show you how I've been doing. The piles on top of the bookcase are now gone, and you can see 2 of the shelves are more or less empty. 3 of the shelves actually. One shelf I've decided to use to pile up my Harry Potter big illustrated hardback books because I don't want to put them on the floor, really, they're too precious. Yeah, I'll show you the piles on the floor and how that's going. Right, so first of all, actually, behind me on the chair are books that defy categorization. Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls, this Romeo and Juliet, Choose Your Own Adventure, and Home for the Day 1. I don't really have anything similar, I think. So those are all together. Right, so I start here. We have a big pile of books that I don't actually know if they're series or not. So that's to look up later. Short stories, fantasy series are here. I'm starting a third pile. Non-fiction is here. Historical adult is there. Sci-fi series, which aren't that very many of, really. Contemporary adult, historical YA, classics, spooky, literary fiction, fantasy standalones. At the back are books I have read. Here is contemporary YA. Here is crafts and art, that kind of thing. Over here we have series that I have started, but I've not read these particular books from. Here we have non-sci-fi fantasy series. And here we have sci-fi standalones. So yeah, that's it. And yeah, I've just got my bits and bobs that are on the shelves alongside the books, prints, stuff from Illumina crates, that kind of thing. Right, now I've got only about 2 hours left. No, not 2 hours. 3 hours. No, two and a half hours left to finish doing this. Ideally. Before I go to a pub quiz. So yeah, I've got to crack on. I'm not going to continuously film all the way through because that just drains the battery. I'm just going to check in from time to time. Probably when I've done all of the books that are up on the top 2 lots of squares, because then I will be able to sit on the floor to do the rest. I'll probably put the camera down, and that'll be probably a bit more interesting to look at, to be honest, than this me standing up here gesticulating wildly at the camera. Anyway, also I keep looking at myself and not at the lens, which is a bad habit that I'm pretty good at doing when I do my sit down videos over here. Why is this? Why do I keep touching my hair? What's going on? Anyway, let's get on with it. About 12 minutes has gone by and I have an exciting development. Well, it's not that exciting, but I thought I'd share it anyway. So keep watching this video, don't close. Come with me. Sometimes the fast release is not that fast. Right, so okay, so there's 2 things really. Number 1, focus, is that my contemporary YA piles are now obstructing me from getting to the next row of bookshelves. So I need to move those. I'll probably put them under the table. And another thing is that when I got to the back of this one, I found it was mostly crafts and colouring books. So I decided to fill in what had been a crafts pile on the floor, to take out the various non-fiction books that were scattered around, and keep them separately, and then fill in the gaps with that pile of craft books on the floor. So when I get to more craft books, I think I'm going to try and move them up here and fit them onto this one, so this can be a fully dedicated crafts square, and that will save some space on the floor because it's got bad. Historical YA pile is now really tall. Non-fiction pile is also really tall. Historical adults getting there. And yeah, fantasy, fantasy, I already had started a 3rd pile, but yeah, okay. Why do I have so many books? I mean, I know why, but why though? Oh my god. Well, I am to the bottom row now. However, I have realised that I need to get the craft books off and go through them again once I've categorised everything, because I can sort of subdivide between them. It'd be nice to have all of the plant books together and all of like the sewing books together and that kind of thing, or like the fashion kind of reference books together. That would be good too. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get those off and sort it out. But I was kind of thinking of trying to alphabetize within categories. Who knows if I have time for that, but I may have to tomorrow take some stuff off and alphabetize it if I don't get time to do it today. But anyway, I'm going to move the camera down now. How's that for a view? Yeah, so here I am, surrounded by many books, and all I have to do is the bottom row. So yeah. Oh, and the books that aren't even in this frame. Crap, forgot about those. I have done the whole thing. It's now time for me to go and get the other books from the other piles elsewhere and crack on with that. Hi. Multitasking because I am thirsty. It's a good thing I lift, bro. Hauling all these books around, you know. If I hadn't trained for this, I would not be prepared at all. Okay, so I have now moved all of the books in here from the other rooms. I have cleaned off the white shelving unit and given it a good wipe down so that it's not dusty anymore, because it had accumulated a lot of dust. These, not that dusty, because they're full of books and dust just gets dislodged when you move the books. That thing, ew. So what I really need now is space. I cannot go through the piles of books I've just brought in because there's no space. This is why I can't Marie Kondo. She's like, put all your stuff. No. What? Do you think I have a warehouse in order to go through everything? Anyway. So I think my best plan, for from here is to move everything that I'm not going to actually want to get to quickly into the white thing in the corridor. So that means moving all of the big piles of fantasy series, because I'm not going to get around to them anytime soon. They are not high priority because because I want fewer books. I need to go for the standalones. Because the thing is, with fantasy series, sometimes I read the first one and I need to read the rest to know whether I want to keep the first one. You know, sometimes the series is complete and then you don't want to reread it again, but you need to hold on to those earlier books until you reread it. So yeah. I've had to open the window again, so apologies if there's extra background noise in the segment. Yeah, I'm going to move all of the fantasy books. I've got an hour and about 20 minutes left. So I'm going to move all of the fantasy books, and I'm not going to advertise them or anything, because all the fantasy series books, I mean. I'm not going to advertise them or anything because I don't need to, because I'm, you know, if there comes a point where I can move them onto some of these shelves, then I'll go through it and sort it out then. But for now, I'm just going to pick them up and shove them up. Okay, so that took 8 minutes, which was way less time than I thought it would. But yeah, so I'll show you what I've done. I have put all of the... just picking this up with a tripod, it's a bit easier. I've put all of the fantasy and sci-fi series down here. I don't know how well you can really see that, but hey. And then over on my bookshelf I have put in all of those books that I'd already read and I needed to find homes for here in the middle. So it's books I've read, and books I've read. And then I've also split the craft section into two and done one for all fabric related things, sewing, embroidery, knitting, all of that kind of stuff, and then one for gardening and everything else. So now all I have to do is go through those piles I brought in from the other room that I've got the space to do so, and yeah, that should be it. If I find any more sci-fi or fantasy series books, they will be going over there, and everything else will be staying in here for me to find homes for once everything's been sorted. So I've now put all of the sci-fi, fantasy and other series that I haven't started on the white shelving unit in the hallway. The only exception is the hardbacks, my lovely, beautiful hardbacks, mostly from Maluma Plate boxes. I'm keeping in here because they're going to get dusty out there. I don't know why, but that room just gets so much more dusty than out here. It's a mystery. So I'm going to keep those in here on the bookshelves to keep them nice. But yeah, I'm probably going to put them up in that one there, where the second from left at the top, because that's where I've got my Harry Potter hardback, so it makes sense. What I realised I forgot about is my pile of question mark books. Books where I don't know whether they are fantasy standalones or series, or sci-fi standalones or series, or anything else standalones or series. So what I think I'm going to do to deal with this is I'm going to put all of the non-fiction books on the shelves. I have a ton of non-fiction. I didn't think I had that much, but going through I found absolutely masses of it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put those on the shelves, as well as the fantasy and sci-fi hardbacks, and then hopefully again I'll have more space and I'll be able to sit down and go through the mystery pile. Mystery pile. I'm back like 1 minute later, literally like a minute later. Possibly less. So what I actually decided to do is to go all along the back row with the big chunky fantasy hardbacks and paperbacks. Yeah, I realised there were a couple of paperbacks in that pile too. Also, nice copies that I would like to keep covered in disgusting dust. So yeah, I decided to go all along the back row because if they're at the back, I'd never need to get to them. So it's fine. You know, I won't need to get to them for ages. So yeah, I figured put them all at the back, so I'm going to put other books in front. And I also had a thought that I'm going to put all the non-fiction down at the bottom, because I think that should get most of it in. Because there's a lot of it, but there isn't so much of it as there is YA Contemporary. So I want to save the whole boxes, if possible, for YA Contemporary. Hello. Okay, update. I have put all the non-fiction either at the bottom or I filled in the gaps on the craft shelf. I tried where possible to line up the fashion non-fiction books with the craft kind of fashion books. And I have also put adult literary fiction. I decided to screw the distinction between literary fiction and contemporary adult, and I put the I put them together, and then I also put some more contemporary adult up there with classics. And now I think I'm going to try and have a go at putting fantasy standalones up in front of the fantasy series hardbacks. I've already put sci-fi standalones up on there, and then it will be a case of yeah, because I said screw alphabetizing because I don't have time, have half an hour left, and what I don't do today I have to finish off tomorrow. I am just going to try and get everything that I can, except for the mystery pile, up on the shelves, so that tomorrow all I have to do is go through the mystery pile. I am about to call it a day, but first I thought I'd show you what I've done. Okay, so here's the bookshelf as it is right now. So starting at the top, this pile is all my short story collections. This is YA Contemporary. This is YA Contemporary. Oh. And here we have 2 bottles of wine. Behind that we have YA historical, and here we have some adult historical. I didn't have very much adult historical actually. Here we have mostly fantasy standalones, and at the top some contemporaries that I just needed to slot in. Here we have again fantasy standalones. At the back are, as discussed before, my Harry Potters and fantasy, sci-fi, etc. Series books that are hardback. Books I've already read. This is all contemporaries. It's 3 rows of contemporaries. This is adult, contemporary, and historical. No, it's not. It's adult, historical, and classics all mixed in there. Cookbooks and wine. I've actually discovered more cookbooks as I did this process, so that needs to sort out too. But I'll leave that for tomorrow. Here we have adult contemporary, I think adult contemporary at the back too. Here is crafts and non-fiction that isn't to do with fashion. Here we have crafts and some non-fiction that is to do with fashion. Books I've already read. Down here we have business and brain books and a bit of design. Here we have fashion and style kind of critical books. Here we have some plays and poetry and the meowmorphosis. Here we have some more non-fiction and poetry. This is kind of a more kind of, this is sort of kind of, yeah, leading, it's kind of stuff that starts with home stuff, then moves on to think about the world, and then we have a whole memoir section here. This is a pile of series I have already started. This is some stuff that's off the shelf. What do we have? We have a book that I actually picked up even though I have a copy of it already, so that can go back to swap. And this is all of the mysterious books that I need to check up on. And then out here, oh, I'm going to need to put the light on. There's light. Here I have my spooky pile, which is probably going to be my next project, to be honest, because it's a nice, it's not too large a pile, and I think I can do it, and it'll be a good spooky October, November mood before I get into reading Christmas books. And then here, this is all the series. This is all the series that I haven't started. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. It's all gonna just stay here until some future date. Out of mind, out of the way. Brilliant. Okay, that's it. So you'll see me again tomorrow, where I will carry on and hopefully get this done and dusted. It will be quite late on the day, so it might be another one in dodgy light bulb light, because I ain't getting out the, I'm already hot enough. I'm not getting out my proper lighting kit yet. No. Yeah. So I've got to do some writing tomorrow morning, but after that I'll be returning to this project, so see you then. Hello. So it's in fact over a week later, although I'm just a bit late filming this because I actually did finish off the bookshelf reorganisation when I got back from the pub quiz that night. So everything has been nicely organised for over a week now, and I would like to show you the finished arrangement. So I have slightly altered a few things. If I can release the camera, that would be really nice. Come on, quick release. Release. Oh, there we go. Okay, right, here we go. So, okay. So up here, as the note suggests, I have short stories. I ended up moving things around, so I put YA contemporaries here. Behind them is more YA contemporaries because I wanted to put some of my beautiful fantasy hardbacks that aren't standalones here at the front. Now I have historical fiction here. I think I've got adult and YA. Excuse the I think that was a police car going past. I've got some wine in front. I think this is free quiz wine. You know, when you come second prize in a quiz and they give you free wine. I don't think it's very nice. I haven't tried it, but I'm probably gonna save it for mulled wine in the winter. Anyway, over here behind these prints, I have some more fantasy standalones. This is Biscuit from the comic Cindy and Biscuit, which I adore so much. It's a really cute kids comic, but you know, it's also deep and meaningful. It's basically like if Buffy was a little girl. I love it so much. And here we have some more sci-fi and fantasy standalones. Over here, books I've already read, that hasn't changed. Down here, books I've already read, again, that hasn't changed. Here we have some more contemporary YA. As you saw, I have a massive amount of contemporary YA. Here we have some more sketches. Actually, that is a sketch. That's the print. That's a sketch by various artists that Nick has given me. Here we have this ladybird paperweight thing that I made when I was in primary school. And yeah, even though it collects an enormous annoying amount of dust, I love it too much to get rid of it. I even took a picture one time to try it and persuade myself I could get rid of it, but I couldn't. I just know. But yeah, here we have some more historical adult. Like I said, there's a bit of a mix up here. These are historical adult, but I think it's YA behind. Here are all my cookbooks, which I have managed to now fit onto one shelf now that I've moved the alcohol elsewhere. Down here we have literary fiction, contemporary fiction, contemporary adult rather, and classics all mixed in together. Here we have some craft and non-fiction books. Here we have all craft and non-fiction books, all fabric related over here, I think for the most part. Here we have some more books that I've already read and a bit of dust. Yeah, let's brush over that. Here we have various non-fiction books. I don't actually know if I will read all of these. Some of these are just random ones I picked up for free. I may try some of them and get rid of them. I've also got bar games sitting on the top, fun times. Here we have some more non-fiction. This is sort of like a bit more kind of clothes related stuff, and then some books about having parties. Here we have some more non-fiction. Here we move away from the kind of clothes and stuff into generally being good to the world stuff. Up here, oh yeah, I forgot to add, I've got various things which didn't fit into any of the categories: plays and sort of poetry and meowmorphosis. Here we have some more poetry. We have a sort of choose your own adventure Romeo and Juliet book which Nick gave me and I haven't read yet. And Kentucky Stories Rebel Girls. And here we have some more non-fiction. This is just kind of assorted non-fiction stuff. Some of it's historical, and biographical. I kind of loosely tied it together. And down here on the floor we have my current non-fiction reading book. This is not spooky, but everything underneath it is spooky. That is my next project, the spooky project. So that is it. I'm going to step back now so you can see the whole big bookshelf. Yeah, there we go. So, confession. When I started doing this bookshelf reorganisation, I was aware that I was probably going to be moving house, but I really wanted to do it anyway because I wanted to have my books organised, and now it's been confirmed. I am moving. I say moving house, but I'm moving from a flat to a house. So yeah. I am going to have to take all of these books off the shelves again. But at least I know, for packing purposes, that I can do it all in one day. It might take me slightly longer if I'm actually having to pack them up into boxes, but I don't think so. I don't think so. I think I can do it quite quickly. So yeah, I have beautifully organised my bookshelf and it's all going to have to come down. But for the time being, it's really, really great having a well-organised bookshelf. And I know that I can pack it all up into boxes and then just pop it back onto shelves and have it more or less the same order. And having done this video means I can also watch this video and see, you know, how I did it if I need reminding, basically, because I'm really, 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 really happy with it. You know, I've lived with it for over a week now, and yeah, it makes my heart sing looking at my beautiful, well-organised bookshelf. It still has too many books on it. It does. And, you know, I managed to declutter a few. I didn't think I would declutter anything when I was going through this process. But I did actually find a few things that I've decided I don't really want to read, so I can just get rid of those. That's great. But yeah, this is for the most part all books I want to read. I now just have to get on and read them. So thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more from me, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you would like to read more books but don't know where to start, please check out my free e-course, Ignite Your Passion for Reading, Fall in Love with Books, which goes through a whole process of finding more books you'll love and making the time to read them. Also, if you love organisation, I have a e-course on planning your work wardrobe. This isn't free, but it is at a very low price, and you can check that out in the description box again, like the other one. So, thank you again. You'll see me again soon. Bye!